Welcome to Good Food. Today we're going to talk meatballs. We're going to start off with a standard meatball recipe to start with, and we're going to go into something a little different. Meatballs should not be considered difficult. They're really an Italian meatloaf shaped in a ball. Let's talk about the ingredients. Start off with 2 pounds of lean ground beef. We got 90% here. For seasoning, we got 1 teaspoon of garlic, granulated garlic, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and 1 teaspoon of seasoned salt. Half a cup of breadcrumbs, half a cup of finely chopped onions, 2 eggs, and half a cup of cream. Let's mix all the ingredients together. And as you can see, this is a simple operation. We're just going to get it all mixed in well. And the best way to make meatballs is to put, there you go, get a mixture well, have your prep work done, get it all mixed in. Like I said, this is just your basic meatball recipe. And it's just like a meatloaf. Okay, everything's mixed. We're going to use a scoop to make it faster, and we're going to lay them out on a sheet pan.
I can't remember.
We're going to kind of make a ball. And there we go. Alright.
So there'll be a link for the disher that we use, or scoop, down below.
In the description box.
In the description box, yes.
And we'll be back when these are done. Okay, for the next meatball tip, you can take any well-seasoned bulk sausage and make meatballs. You can even blend them so it doesn't come out tasting exactly like a certain bulk sausage. In this case, I'm using my hot Italian and my Hungarian hot garlic, and I'm going to blend those two. I'm going to mix them by hand, and then I'm going to make meatballs out of them. So if you're not up to making a fancy meatball recipe, you know somebody that makes, or some butcher or wherever that makes bulk sausage that you really like, you can make meatballs out of it. Why not? It's easy.
And it's good. It is so freaking good.
Just thought, for a housewife that wants homemade meatballs. Huh? As you can see, there are 2 different sausages. You can see the seasoning quite clearly. In the Hungarian, it's got a lot of paprika in it. And garlic, if you could smell this. Wow.
It's really good sausage.
There will be a link for the videos for the bulk sausages that we discussed here in this description box below. We have a video for each of those.
My favorite's the hot garlic.
Hungarian hot garlic.
Hungarian hot garlic. But they're both really good.
And I'm a sausage lover. I used to go to Boston, and I found this little place in the south end of Boston, a butcher that made their own sausage, and his hot Italian garlic was just to die for. I used to bring it home on the airplane, 10 pounds at a time in a carry-on cooler. It's a long ways to go and an expensive way for sausage. Well, I went in there one day and I saw him making his sausage, and I saw the ingredients. And I had an idea what went in with the sausage. But from there, I took and made it till I got it close enough to call it the real authentic hot Italian sausage. He wouldn't give me the recipe naturally, but I think I figured it out. Okay, I'm going to wash my hands and we're going to make meatballs again. And we're going to do this just same as we did the other one. It's that simple. And we're going to follow this up. When we get these made, we got a meatball sauce for this to go in. You can put it over spaghetti or make meatball sandwiches with it. A lot of ways you can eat meatball. And we're going to put this on a flat sheet pan with parchment paper because we're going to bake it at 350 convection. Now the size of your meatballs is going to determine how long you bake it. So you really fill them out, it's going to take a little longer. And you want them to be firm like we would a meatloaf. And then just double check when you think it's done. Take one out and cut it in half. You can tell when it's done when you cut a burger in half, right? Or a meatloaf. Same thing here.
Give you an opportunity to
taste test.
Taste test.
I'm all about taste test.
As long as you know it's done.
Yeah.
You don't want somebody saying, I only got a half of one.
Okay, let's recap what we got. Our traditional meatballs, 2 pounds of ground beef made 20 meatballs. 4 pounds of bulk sausage made 33 meatballs. Now the reason the 2 pounds of ground beef went so far because we put breadcrumbs to extend it, right, like a meatloaf. Just wanted you to see what we had. We're going to pop that in the oven at 350 convection for 20 minutes and we'll check it. And you see we got a lot of meatballs, and there's 2 people in our family right now. 2 people anyway. There's also 2 dogs, which might get some, but these meatballs will not all be eaten by us at one setting. You can freeze these on a sheet pan after they're cooked and put them in your sauce, pull them out after you thaw them out. You could also freeze them raw like this and then put them in a bag and then cook them later after they're thawed out. You can also, what I've done more commonly is after they're cooked in the sauce, put them in a gallon bag with the sauce and freeze it, and you can thaw it back and make meatball sandwiches.
They need to have
Parchment paper.
or freezer paper under it. Because they'll stick to the pan and you won't be able to get them out.
For our sauce, we've got a pound of mushrooms. We got 5 cloves of garlic. We got 2 tablespoons of basil, 1 tablespoon of oregano dried, and a teaspoon of pepper and a half teaspoon of salt, and a cup of wine. We'll go over the tomatoes in a minute. We need to lightly cook the mushrooms. And once those get started, we're going to add the garlic, lightly cook that a little bit.
What do you have in there? Olive oil?
Just a little bit of olive oil, yes. I'm basically sweating these. I'm not sauteing them. Want them to cook down a little bit to give us a little more essence to the mushroom, if you would, to go in that sauce. Some of these, they'll help break the mushrooms down a little bit and put the flavor in the sauce. Add the garlic. I wish you could smell this. Wow.
You smell good, baby.
It'll take long to sweat this down a little bit. Okay, now we're going to add our seasonings. Mix that in real good. One cup of wine. For the tomatoes, we're going to use 1 large can of crushed tomatoes. A small, regular sized can of diced tomatoes. And a regular sized can of tomato sauce. Let this heat through and try to mix it. Now, as you can see, we've got sauce for our meatballs. The meatballs are ready, so let's put them in. Now, let's look at our meatballs. This is the beef, and we're going to cut one in half just to show you it's done. The beef is done. You can see it's done. Now we're going to do one of the sausage. Bring it over here. Same area so you can see it. And it's done. So we're ready to load the meatballs in the sauce. Now, you can see the consistency I have here of meatballs to sauce. This is basically how you'd want it for meatball subs, because you're not going to use a whole lot of sauce. If you were making spaghetti and meatballs, you'd probably want to double the volume of sauce to meatballs. But we're making meatball subs first.
And put some tomato paste in it or something.
And you can put tomato paste to change it, to thicken it up if you want to. Ours is not real thin. You want to put tomato paste in there? We'll put tomato paste in there.
That's fine. That's fine.
And we'll show you the meatball sandwiches later. Thank you.